Ada for slapping a cop after he shot my husband? My husband and I had recently moved into our new apartment, unaware of its murky past. It turned out the previous owner had ties to criminal activities, which brought unwelcome attention to our doorstep. One day, there was a knock at the door. We opened it to find law enforcement officers standing there, inquiring about the previous owner. We cooperated, explaining that we were the new tenants and had no information about the previous occupant. They seemed satisfied and left. But the visits didn't stop there. A week later, there was another knock, and once again, we provided the same response. We assumed it was just routine checks due to the previous owner's history. However, things took a terrifying turn about a month later. Without warning, the door was kicked in, and a flashbang grenade was hurled into our apartment. The sudden explosion filled the space with blinding light and deafening noise. My husband, startled and disoriented, rushed out to see what was happening. And then the unimaginable happened. In the chaos of the moment, as my husband emerged from the apartment, the officers opened fire. 3 shots rang out, each one piercing the air with chilling finality. I watched in horror as my husband crumpled to the ground, blood staining the floor beneath him. Shock, disbelief, and rage surged through me all at once. With trembling hands, I slowly dropped my registered concealed carry firearm, my mind racing with a whirlwind of emotions. Amidst the chaos and the cacophony of sirens outside, I knew I had to act, but I struggled to find clarity in the chaos. In a haze of anguish and fury, I stepped forward, my eyes fixed on the officer who had fired the fatal shots. Anger boiled within me, fueled by the injustice of it all. How could they have shot an unarmed man on his own home? How could they have torn my world apart in an instant? And then, without fully comprehending my own actions, my hand lashed out, striking the officer across the face with a resounding slap. The sound echoed in the air, a sharp retort to the violence that had shattered our lives. In that moment, I acted on pure instinct, driven by a primal need for justice, for retribution. But as the officer recoiled from the blow, I felt a wave of regret wash over me. Was this the right thing to do? Had I only made matters worse? As the chaos of the situation began to subside, I found myself grappling with the aftermath of my actions. The reality of what had transpired settled heavily upon me, casting a shadow over my soul. In the midst of tragedy, I had reacted impulsively, driven by a potent mixture of grief and anger. Now, as I stood amidst the wreckage of our shattered lives, I couldn't help but wonder Ada for slapping a cop after he shot my husband.